Record. Hello and welcome to the Drug Life Cycle Minute. I'm your host, Philip Day. My guest today is Dr. Mukesh Kumar, the Chief Innovation Officer of Drug Life Cycle, DLTA. Hello, Dr. Kumar. Good to see you again.
Hello, Philip. Good seeing you too.
Today's topic is really about money. Let's just admit it. How can you reduce and control the cost of clinical trials? And my first question, of course, really sets the stage here. Why in the world are clinical trials so expensive?
Well, a clinical trial is a very complex project. So you have a lot of people involved in it. You have patients involved in it, doctors involved in it. There is a lot to do. So think of it as a project that involves, if you think of patients also as participants in clinical trials, you're talking of, tens and hundreds of people getting involved, even in a small clinical trial, doing a lot of very complex tasks. So managing all those people, doing all the different tasks you're supposed to do, it naturally would cost you a lot of money. So it is the nature of what is done. It is not a simple thing. It's a very complex exercise involving a lot of different tasks and people. So it does cost. The cost is pretty reasonable if you think of the number of people and the amount of work involved.
Okay. Well, that all makes sense, but there has to be a way to reduce and control those costs. What can companies do to reduce the cost of a clinical trial?
They can do a lot. There is a lot you can do to control the cost. I mean, although it's a large project, it's also a very well understood project. It's like when you build a house, I mean, you're not building a house for the first time. Houses have been built before. So the contractor knows what needs to be done and can figure out all the different tasks, all the different people, all the times and costs of every material, and can tell you a very good estimate of what this house will cost. Similarly, clinical trials can also be done that way. Everything we do in clinical trials has been done for at least the last 50, 60, 70 years. So we have a lot of experience of what is involved, how much does it take to do it, how much time does it take, and then what is the corresponding cost, what kind of experts you would need. So taking the analogy again of building a house, you know that you would need a carpenter, you would need a plumber, you would need an electrician, you will need an architect, you will need some laborers, you will need all kinds of work people to build your landscaping person to put plants outside your house. So you know all those things. So you can plan what it should cost. Clinical trials are exactly the same thing. We need pharmacists, we need nurses, we need doctors, we need different kind of individuals or different expertise. Some are more expensive than others. So we can actually plan it very well and control the cost. We can predict the cost. And actually good project managers would do that, would make good project plans where they would address all the different variables on the cost, and then based on those variables, they'll be able to predict what this cost is going to be. And then if they do the project well, they would keep the cost within what was projected. You don't like your house to cost 3 times what you originally estimated. Similarly, you don't want your trials to cost 3 times what they originally estimated. So I think the main problem is people think of these things as if they are rocket science. They're not. They're very logical projects, and they should be treated like any other project. You should know all about it, and you should be able to plan and predict and then control.
Well, in light of that, our final question for today is, how can you speed up these clinical trials?
You can by better planning. So I think as just moving on based on what I just told you, most of the issues with clinical trials happen with bad planning. People manually do a lot of things. People, forget to do things. There are too many people, and you forget to ask them. Or even if one person of this large team is not behaving properly, the entire project goes bad. Think of it like an orchestra. In an orchestra, you have all these people sitting and playing different instruments. If they all play on cue, if they all play in tune, you would have a very good tune. But imagine if even 1 or 2 of them are not in tune, are not playing per the instructions, the whole tune will go bad. And then you'll spend time recovering from it. Clinical trials are like that, and think of the project manager as the conductor of the team. All the team members, the conductor has to know what everybody needs to do and when they are supposed to do what, and then the orchestra, everybody has to do their job. So, the project management of clinical trial is like any other project. It's a highly predictable and highly controllable project, and it should be done that way.
So really the taking control, which is what DLTA, your company does, of course, helps with controlling costs and speeding up those trials. So this is very helpful, Dr. Kumar. Thank you so much for all that you do to help us understand clinical drug trials better. We appreciate it. And we also want to thank our audience for joining us for Drug Life Cycle Minute. You can find out more about us at www.druglifecycle.com. And be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. Take control with DLTA and have a healthy day. Bye-bye.